Welcome, everyone, to On the Deck on July 11th, 2023.
Very nice. Welcome, everybody. Yes.
Welcome. 11's a good number.
Is it?
Isn't it a power number? You're getting in touch with your full self, your true self, your authentic self, or something like that.
Yeah, and it's also today is 7/11.
7-Eleven. 7-Eleven.
7/11.
What song is that?
That's that Ice Cube song,
7-Eleven.
do, which is actually sampled from the Isley Brothers. But it's today was a good day. Dude,
Was
7/11.
Did that okay? Outside of it referring to a company, was it referring to something else that I should know about?
Maybe
not.
I actually don't know, but yes, there is the company.
I thought it was like 7 days a week, 11 hours a day. Is that what it is? 7 days?
I think that's the.
7 days a week, 11 hours a day. Is that
I
what it
think
is?
you're bordering along the lines of possibly giving a commercial right now.
We're not doing a commercial.
Supporting
no commercial.
corporate. Anyway,
No,
hello
no
everybody. My name is mikO Tolliver. Welcome to On the Deck. I'm your host here. I'm here with our interim general manager.
And don't you forget, you can find her on the social medias at mikO Tolliver.
Who's always supporting me.
Two L's.
You like that?
Yes. Yeah. And then you can find me on the social medias through On the Deck.
Yeah. There isn't actually an official On the Deck social media. It's just like, I guess people contact me. But you know what?
Yeah.
Soon as this show blows up, it's about to be.
It's about to be that.
I don't know. I guess I was like, maybe we'll get a social media name, but I don't know. Yeah. We'll see.
We'll get a social media name.
Today though, we had a meeting today with managers.
Mm-hmm.
And
we're not going to talk about the problems.
Actually, yes, I'm going to bring those up.
You're going to bring the problems? Let's talk about the problems.
No, I was going to say that somebody referred to you as AO, and I was like, oh, that's so cute.
Who called me AO?
It was Italina, our developmental person. Is she like developmental manager now?
AO.
Or development manager?
No, it's interim donor relations manager.
Okay, yeah. Well, she called you AO, and I was like, Mr. A to Z.
I didn't say that. AO, yeah.
AO.
Okay.
AO.
But yeah, so we have managers meetings once a week for everyone out there. So, since we were already talking about it, so you'll know that the management team is meeting. Also, mikO has been in charge of gathering the programmers, our large group of both volunteer and employees.
Oh, they're not volunteers. They are community programmers.
Yes, the community programmers. And she's also scheduling those meetings. So just for everyone out there in internet land, just know that there are, well, not to say that you wouldn't know that, but, there's a lot of inter-office communication happening.
Oh, yes. Hardcore. So, we take notes and everything.
Yeah.
You laugh at that, but I think we were having
really
meetings
helpful.
where we weren't taking notes. And it's like, wait, what did we say?
Everyone out there, the tools that you have, the modern day tools actually do help with productivity.
And I said, let's use these and let's be productive.
Yeah.
And it's been great. We've totally been upping our communication here around the station, which, makes me feel so good because that's what we're here doing on the deck. People, watch this and they go, oh, what's going on? Sometimes people contact us and go, you and Antonio are so silly with each other. And I'm like, yeah it's so much fun. But you were just telling me in that meeting that you were just saying that people were contacting you saying, yeah, I feel like the station's been communicating more. And I'm like, that makes me feel really good.
Yeah. And we got to build on that because there's still modes or avenues of communication that need to be beefed up. So if anyone out there who's pointing out some problems, we do know that there are still some lingering issues that need to be addressed. So,
but it's going well.
Yes. Just know whenever you say something, we've got the message. Whether or not you have received a response yet, we are working on it.
We are working on it. It's going really well. Our communication is going well. We've been upping it and we love it. And we've been letting you know that, I think the real issue might have been like people were communicating with us. Maybe we were talking amongst ourselves and forgetting to say it outwardly. And I try to say this to people sometimes that, just because you thought it doesn't mean that you said it out loud. Like I've totally had people been like, I told you. And I was thinking, no, you didn't. I went, wait a minute. Did you think it?
Well, sometimes people do say it, but you got to remember that when message sent is not always message received.
Ooh.
Right? Because sometimes people are thinking about something else, or they notice you give a message and they're thinking about a particular part of the message and not the whole thing. So, is
that a theory you've learned from Talk It Out Radio?
From Talk It Out Radio? No, not from Talk It Out Radio. But I have actually learned a lot from one of the host producers there, Nancy Kahn.
I know Nancy. That's my girl.
Communication, yes. And sent message received. I think I've heard that a while back for. And it's usually about relationships. People will think that I'm talking about this, and that, and then the other person is thinking about something else. So even though they're communicating, that's where the friction lies, when they're both on the same subject but talking about different things. A lot of times, if you ever notice this, people are on the same wavelength. They're actually in agreement, but it sounds like they're arguing, and you're listening to them. It's usually when you're in the third party. You're looking at them and thinking, you both agree, but you guys sound like you're disagreeing, because they're talking about the same thing, but two different parts of it.
Or like two different ways to get there.
Two different ways together. Usually they're all in agreement on how to get there, but someone's thinking about the beginning part and someone's thinking about the end.
Okay.
And they're talking about it as though it's two different things, but in the end you're like, you both actually agree that this is a problem that needs to be addressed, and you both have an idea that actually is the same.
Okay.
But you're saying it in a way that it sounds different, but it's not.
Okay.
Have you ever had that
No,
experience?
I totally do that. And then I guess maybe if you're in the heat of it too, because you're starting to argue.
Yeah, because you're not listening to me.
You're not listening to me.
This is what I'm saying. And you're like,
we're saying the same thing. We just don't really know. Yeah.
But usually, and I've been in that situation sometimes, and then afterwards someone will tell me later, or a few days later, I think, what? We were talking about the same thing the whole time. We're both in agreement.
Yeah.
Why was that a problem?
That's how arguments go. That's how communication goes. So we are working on it. We hope you appreciate it. It seems like you do, because you guys are starting to comment on it. I know it's not perfect, but it's getting there.
Yes, it's getting there. And for everyone out there, one of the main reasons why we have On the Deck is because, through the work week, and a lot of the difficulties and trials and tribulations of a radio station, we like to have fun every once in a while.
We do.
And Tuesdays and once a month, this is supposed to be our time for fun.
Yeah, I kind of have this thing where I'm just all like, what's the point of living life if you can't get silly sometimes?
Yeah. And what's also, it's, we're a media institution, and we have shows here that talk about theater, about poetry. It's not all about public affairs. We have music shows.
60%.
Right? Yep. So don't forget, there's the breadth of the human experience is not just related to one part. So our goal is to try to encompass every single part of it.
Nice.
Right.
How was your weekend?
How was my weekend?
You got to think about it.
I got to think about it, because I feel it's Wednesday. Or is it Wednesday?
It's Tuesday.
Feels like it was a long time ago.
Right? Actually, we did get to Sunday, and I was just like, is that it? Is it over? Oh.
Yep. That's how it feels a lot of times. Was that it?
It does feel like that. But it was pretty chill. It was good. I know that we ended last week doing On the Deck the July announcements, right? We want to remind you guys to go check out the On the Deck for July, the month of July, the updates. We got the link there in the description of this post. But also at any point in time, remember, always tune into KPFA 94.1 FM.
Can I ask a question to the audience if they're watching us live?
Oh, okay.
Where were you going to go with that before I interrupted you?
I was going to say also tuning into KPFA 94.1 FM, but you can also always log on to kpfa.org. But go, what's your question?
So when you were asking me about the weekend, I'm doing this little competition with a close friend of mine where we're trying to get the most distance in per week. And after 4 months, whoever does the most distance per week wins. And there's a little wager on it. So we're doing that as a way to jumpstart our way to health and movement. So
is this for running the marathon?
No, it's not running. It's just walking.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to get her one day to do a marathon with me. But my question out there, if anyone is out there who wants to participate, I would just like to know. It's July. It's hot. It's the summer. What are you doing to stay healthy?
Oh, it's so funny you say that. Actually, I found someone online who was selling an elliptical machine. And for a good price. And I'm like, I do actually like that. And I would like to train on it, which I was actually going to ask, how appropriate do you think it would be if we were having like a meeting and I were on the elliptical at the same time?
You could do that.
Really?
If you wanted to. I mean, you're in a meeting. You're just, what's as long as you can think while you're doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are watching and they're on a treadmill. So.
Okay, good. All right. Because I'm considering doing that. Because I actually found that I'd like to be on it and then like maybe watch something at the same time.
Who does she think she is? Who does she think I am?
Well,
someone who's going to say, you can't be on the elliptical while we're meeting.
I'm the social media rep and I'm the programming coordinator. So HBIC over here. Anyway, You don't know what that phrase? I can't believe people really don't.
HBIC.
Head in charge.
Okay, you have to explain to me some other time.
I just said it.
In charge.
Head in charge.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's like
bleep.
yeah, it's just one of those old black phrases.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, I learn something new every day.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, you an elliptical machine? Sure, great.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay,
I love it.
so
I
then-
support it 100%. Maybe the next on the deck, you'll be on your elliptical, and what would I be?
Ooh, that'd be cool, but you got to get like a treadmill. You can be walking. We could do that, actually. Do you have the treadmill at your house?
No, I don't want to buy anything if I don't need it. So
See, how you feel about buying stuff is how I feel about running. I'm like, I don't want to buy anything.
I don't want to buy anything.
Well, anyway, yes. So we have a new July on the deck, and go check it out. Actually, we had a lot of fun in it. We were dressed up. Antonio was George Washington.
Well, no, I wasn't George Washington. I wasn't anyone in particular.
Okay, he was a he was a colonist. He was a colonizer. He was
that the colonist?
The first Americans who participated in the Revolution. He had the whole thing. He had the costume. He had the wig. It looked very cute. It was ironed very well by moi. I was a redcoat, so I was the British. And I know you told me not to bring it up and harp on it too much, but we didn't get in trouble for that video.
Well, we're not going to talk about the trouble. There are criticisms.
But
so
here is part of the criticism. Yeah. This is why we're saying Tuesdays is a fun day. We're going to make sure it's fun around here because we do have public affairs. And actually, as per our communication, people have said KPFA can be so doom and gloom sometimes, which it can be. But it's because we really want to make sure you get the news information that you're not getting on like all of the other more corporate stations. They're ignoring stuff. There's serious things happening. But in addition to that seriousness, we got to have some fun. We got to have some fun. That's just fun. Me. And that's my style. You look at me, you see it. You're like, I think this girl likes to have fun. And I do. So, but yes, go check out the July on the Deck video. Again, the link is there for you. If you're watching after the fact, or if you're watching maybe on public access, because, we got our little cahoots there with BCM. And it's also on KPFA TV.
There we go.
Right. And where do you find KPFA TV? You go to kpfa.org and you will see in the left-hand corner, you will see our little playlist there that is connected to all of our YouTubes and stuff like that. So you can find out all that fun stuff, right?
Yeah. And talking about, I was going to talk about fun stuff. Let's go to the next announcement, but that might not be fun. I mean, it's...
But you know what? Let's go to the next announcement. We'll tell you something serious, right? So we do have a show to talk about today that Making Contact just put out another episode for us. And this one is called The Healing Project.
The Healing Project, yes.
And it's based on a multimedia installation that shares stories from incarcerated people. In fact, we got a picture of it up there. Let's put that up as we read this information about it. Making Contact brings you The Healing Project. It's a multimedia installation that shares stories from incarcerated people about how the trauma of imprisonment has impacted their lives and families. You want to read the long description? Let's get the whole thing.
Let's go with the long description. So it's from artist Samora Aboyomi. I hope I'm saying that right. Pinder Hughes. About the Healing Project, an abolitionist art exhibition. The work explores the structures of systemic racism, particularly the prison industrial complex in the U.S., and takes multiple forms, including music, films, community gatherings, and live performances. A digital library of audio interviews centers the project. The stories, experiences, and ideas from the intergenerational individuals across the country, including folks who are incarcerated, form the foundation for the Healing Project's vision for societal transformation.
Okay. Yeah. That was good. All right. So we can get serious. Let's get serious here for a moment. I like that this is a topic that actually, here's my opinion on it. Here's my 2 cents. You ready? I love that this is about systemic racism and especially imprisonment and stuff like that. For me, I'd like to point out, we've had slavery in this. That's how this country was built. And when I think of the prison industrial complex, of course, that's another form of slavery. So it's actually on the books twice happening. Actually, my brother, when he was younger, he was kind of getting into some trouble and he was going in and out of like he was getting arrested and stuff like that. He was young. I remember he got arrested and he got sentenced for stealing. Oh, goodness gracious. I can't remember what he did. He stole something. But he got sentenced to like 4 years in jail.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being at my grandmother's house and they were sending notices to her for him about that he had to pay on like the stuff that he stole, or he's like, you owe this bill, right? And if you don't pay this bill, it's going to go on your credit report and you're going to have interest and all this other stuff. And I was just like, wait a minute, he's in jail right now though. How's he going to pay this?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was so horrible.
Yeah.
Just the like bureaucracy of it all. Cause I'm like, okay, he's doing his time, but even when he gets out, it's like, what chance does he have? He's going to have already be in jail. So that's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like can you get a job with a criminal record? It's very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Then his credit report's going to be bad. That makes it for even people who don't have criminal records difficult for them to get jobs sometimes. So I was like, wow, they're really set up to fail. So I actually like stuff like, so see, we're not always silly.
No,
We got serious stuff. That is actually something that is actually dear to my heart because I really do consider that. I also, my family, my mother's side, we're from the South. We come from a line of sharecroppers.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we can't say 100 years ago, but maybe 150 years ago, I totally had people in my family who at that time, they either were slaves, were just freed slaves, or were even just the children of people who had just probably been freed from slavery.
Yeah.
So it's actually, and I can still see it. We can still see it, the things that we're working out issues in our
and the
family.
issues that you're working out in their family.
Yeah, which actually, if we take it back to July 4th, right? I know people are saying, why would you recognize July 4th? It's when people were enslaved. And I get that. My grandmother's birthday, like I was telling people, is the day before. It's on July 3rd. So she likes to always recognize that. She likes to go back to Louisiana for a family reunion. But I was reading somewhere that back in the day during slavery times, for like 4th of July, it was common for plantation owners, like in that community or that town or something like that, they would actually put on a really big 4th of July celebration. They'd throw in all the monies, like buy all the food and stuff like that. And so then if you think about it, okay, yeah, they're supplying the money and the land to put the party together, but it was the slaves who were doing all the work to cook the food, prepare everything like that. And so just kind of, if you just think of kind of like the traditions from slavery that have still carried over, how like my family in the South, in the deep woods of Louisiana, we still have these big 4th of July celebrations, right? They still recognize it in that way. And now, of course, we're not celebrating slavery. It's at this point, we're like, it's a common time that we get together, but it's crazy how that one little thing, a tradition, it's carried on. And yeah, you could argue it's something new, and it kind of is in a way, but yeah, I don't know. Just thinking about this was something that making contact, talking about systemic racism that goes on, the prison industrial complex, how it's still very alive, the effects that it has in families.
I didn't know that you were from Louisiana.
My grandma, my mom's side, yeah, they're from Louisiana. My mom's side is from Louisiana. My dad's side is from Connecticut.
So now I'm curious. It's just a question about have you been to Louisiana?
I have been there twice. Yes.
And have you ever been? And I'm kind of in this place where people tell me about getting a tour of like a plantation.
I want to do that.
But you haven't done it.
I haven't done it. I would do that. I feel like you could learn a lot. I mean, in some ways, it's lame. I'm sure it would be emotional, but you know what? Actually, the last time I was in Louisiana, I went to visit this museum. For the life of me, I can't remember it, but there was a guy there on display, and his name was Isaac Franks, something like that, something Isaac. But he was the largest slave holder, definitely in Louisiana, maybe the country. And it's crazy because his plantation, where him being the largest slave owner, actually is the same land that Angola is on. You know what that is?
You mean the country Angola?
No, I mean like the prison is called Angola there. Okay. And it's on those that same land. And you're like, what a coincidence that this used to be this really huge plantation with all these slaves. And now what is it? It's this land that's a prison. That's a prison. Right. So interesting topic there. That's going to be for making contact. You know what? I did actually have a problem finding out where I can, what time that comes on. I was like, I need to ask you.
Well, it comes on Fridays at 2 o'clock. I want to say 2 o'clock.
Okay. Making contact Fridays at 2.
Is it 2?
Oh,
Is it 2:30?
he's checking.
2 o'clock. What? Maybe it's 2:30. Let's look on the schedule. Let's look on the website.
Let's look on the website. Let's look on the website.
Website will
and
tell
Jess
us.
is going to type it up for us. So Jess, you get that up there. Making contact
Yes.
Fridays at
Fridays.
Oh,
Oh, I was
2.
right.
You were
2.
right.
I was right. Okay.
You were right. Okay, good.
For a second there, I was thinking, wait a minute. I thought that there were some changes that happened a while back. And I was like, wait a minute. Did pushing limits move? No. But
Interim
contact, 2
general
o'clock.
manager has to know. Yes, making contact Fridays at 2 p.m.
Mhm.
Check that out. New episode. And let's hear what was it called again? It was called
The
the
Healing
Healing
The
Project.
Healing Project. Is there a specific date that played? That was on the 12th of July.
No, because today's the 11th.
It's to. Well, it's
Our math is all.
our math is off.
Anyway, check it out.
Check it out. It's coming up this week.
It's coming up this week.
Okay.
Go onto our website, kpfa.org, and you can find out more. Jess put it up for us. there.
There's so many numbers and dates in my
Yeah.
head. I can't
Let's
get
see, we
everything
do serious
together.
stuff.
Yeah.
We're for real. We can
We're
be
for
serious.
real. We can be for real. So there you got your announcement for
There your
making
announcement, yeah.
contact. And,
KPFA TV, we did the new July announcements. So thank you guys so much all for
Mhm.
that. And Antonio, what time is it? What time is it, AO?
It is time for the donor highlight.
That's the actual like sound effect when people go back and listen to it on
Wait,
like
you mean on the air?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
it's actually, remember we took the sound as doing do
Cha-ching.
do 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 do, and I think Jess recorded it, and I took that audio, and I think it's
You put a cha-ching in there?
I put a cha-ching after the end of it. So you never heard it?
No, I haven't heard the cha-ching part.
Oh yeah, it goes do 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 do. Like, what time is it, Antonio? Do 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 do.
Ching.
It's time for the donor highlight. Or sometimes I switch it. I try to
Yeah.
keep it fresh for people, but give it to them.
Today, we want to thank Tolliver from Oakland, California, for supporting your listener-sponsored radio station, KPFA.
Thank you, Tolbert. That's very, very nice. You know, we need you. KPFA is listener sponsored, 100%. We are community powered. That includes our community programmers and also our listeners who tune in, and we give them a little shout out from our interim general manager, Antonio Ortiz, aka AO, aka Mr. A to Z. Very good.
Yes.
All right. So with that,
do we bid everyone adieu after we tell them that you can follow us on Facebook at KPFA Radio. Oh, KPFA 94.1. And on Instagram, Twitter, on the Instagrams, the Twitters, the YouTubes, the TikToks at KPFA Radio.
Do you know that Meta put out a new social media platform? It's called Threads.
Threads? No.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
how would someone who's not into, because I'm joking, like the YouTubes, the internets, how would someone who's not into it would call Threads the threads?
I get, but you know what? It's really just like Meta's form of like Twitter. And so I did join it because I was watching the news and they were just like 50 million people signed up overnight. And I was just like, oh, okay, well, at least I know there'll be people there. And so I signed up for my own personal account. So check me out on at mikO Tolliver. Again, around the social, just at mikO Tolliver, 2 L's. You'll find me. But my first post was like, so I don't get it. It's like Instagram with words, or it's like Twitter.
Wait, but Instagram does have words.
It's mostly like image based though, and it's like the description of the image. But like Threads is pretty much just like Twitter, or at least I don't know. You know what? This is the part of me where I'm just like, sometimes it's a lot. It's a lot to like join all that stuff. It's a lot. Hey, for anybody who thinks that, it's a lot. I feel like you got to kind of find which one is your favorite one, and you're kind of on that.
Yeah.
But
and for everyone out there, just know that those people who are on the social media, who have a lot of following, they pretty much do that as a full-time job. So I don't know. I just could not imagine that is your full-time job, getting so many followers, then getting whatever income revenue you get from that, but just having that's your main gig. And it's wonderful that they have that and they're doing it. But I couldn't imagine, especially what we're doing here with KPFA and On the Deck and social media, you realize, wow, it's really difficult to get stuff out that the station does on the radio. right? And to
Yeah.
imagine that there are people who do that as they're living.
Yeah, but I mean, we do other stuff too. I mean, we have the radio itself. So
Yeah.
that's how we get out a lot of stuff. We do our live events. And you know, also those people who will have large followings, part of how they make their money is because they'll have like they'll have sponsors. So it's like
Yeah.
and we don't take we don't take ads.
yeah.
We don't do it. We don't do that. We don't do that. 100% listener sponsored, like people like Tolbert.
Yes,
Mhm.
like Tolbert, who
Yeah.
help us do what we're doing.
But you know what? I feel like maybe some of our donors who donate, maybe they'll start to tell us what their social media handles are, and we can be like, "Hey,
Mhm.
sweet."
Hey. Yeah.
All right. So with that, thank you. I want to remind you guys to tune in to KPFA Radio 94.1 FM and also always log on to kpfa.org. We hope you enjoyed having a little bit of the silly and a little bit of the serious here today because we do that. Again, my name is mikO Tolliver. You can find me around on the interwebs at mikO Tolliver with 2 L's. I'm here with our wonderful interim general manager, Mr. Antonio Ortiz. And with that, we want to bid you adieu and say bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.